What is going on, Rotogrinders? Dean here at Dean 7904. If you want to get all technical, me is 5. It's actually a couple minutes late. We're apologizing on that one. It's 5:32 on the East Coast, 2:32 on the West Coast, 4:32 Tennessee time. But of course, images time of the flagship show here at Rotogrinders called Grinderslive. 3-man booth, not messing around tonight. First, let's get you guys know Will from winning multiple $100,000 tournaments. You know him from the sports car show. It's gonna be out later tonight. He's gonna be on the morning grind tomorrow. Will, say hi to you're old news though. Will, let's just get you out of the way. You know, I know you're pregame deal. We got something else that we're going to talk about in a second. Will, how are things in your world? How we feel about this slate?
I'm good, man. You know how I feel about every slate. Every slate's a good slate in my book. 3 games, 4 games, 10 games, doesn't matter. I will find an edge somewhere.
Okay, so we got Andre. Dre, you were on Crunch Time the other day. I saw you over Twitter hitting 6 figures as well too. I'll see your 6 figures and raise you 6 figures as well. You
six. Dean, get your facts right.
Million? Is there a million? Is there
yes. Dean, where have you been?
I forgot to carry a zero. Enlighten me. When did this $1 million go down? I was not aware of this.
Oh my God, Dean.
Well, I was factoring in the tax man.
Well, he's coming soon. That's all I got to say with the tax man. But it's happening in baseball, Dean. Happening in baseball. But I'm happy to be here. Been following you guys for a long time and been with Rotogrinders for 5 years. And it's good to be on and be with the crew and hopefully give people some good place to win some money and hopefully win more money too in the future for myself as well.
Welcome and congrats. Do you remember? I'm assuming you stacked somebody. Do you remember who you stacked that night when you took down $1 million in baseball?
It was actually my team's worst enemy, Boston.
Oh, come on. I wouldn't even cash that ticket.
So first of all, let's talk about this because Boston was just god-awful last year. So the fact that he made money stacking Boston is phenomenal.
I got it early.
The one day? Boston was terrible last year.
Good guys.
Yep. We're excited for baseball around the corner, obviously. Who's in and who's out as far as the slate tonight's a 6-gamer. Hey, just tell the people, Andre, tell them shortly, your play style. I assume you're more of a tournament guy. You fire out 3, you fire out 150, you max out. What's your perspective you come from?
I'm a tournament guy. Normally beforehand I was pretty much was single entry, maybe 5 lineups kind of guy kind of night, but lately I've been dabbling into getting more into like doing like around 25 to depending on the night regularly. But then if I really feel like it's a good slate, I dabble in 150 a lot. But I definitely am a strictly tournament GPP guy. I don't play cash games so much, but something I'm going to probably add to my forte with the years to come.
Oh man, you win $1 million. Nobody says now I'm going to start playing cash games. That's not sexy at all. But all right, fair enough. Bankroll management's a thing.
Listen,
you got even.
Go ahead, Andre. My bad.
No, I was just saying you got to even the money. You got to keep it. You got to keep the stream coming in.
Dean, there's still money to be made in cash games, my friend. If you can do it the right way, like you can make 300 for it. Look, I'm not talking about, the guys that are playing, 300-400 a night. I'm talking about, us normal people, a couple grand or whatever. You can make 300,000-400,000 easy in cash games for the year. This is a true story.
Yeah, I've kind of expanded outside of cash, but I have played cash for sure. And that's kind of sort of, I guess, what I'm known for is like the cash game chalk guy. And I'll play that role in this show for sure. Hey, what up, chat? Like, subscribe, turn on notifications.
Man.
What did I miss?
Tambo just throwing us under the bus, Dean.
What just happened?
I thought we were boys. He said he's here for the Andre show. Who are these other guys?
Well, you got to deal with Isn't Tambo on the show later on tonight? Talk about sports cards?
That's what I thought. I might have to pull a you're fired for Tambo. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Tambo. That's
unbelievable. It's how quickly they forget, I understand though, the shiny new toy. We like to play the shiny new toy in DFS and the shiny new toy as far as in the show. It's understood. Happy to yield. 6 games going down tonight. Another weird one as far as the schedule. We saw it come into play last night. Well, the best game, probably arguably one of the best games, was Houston right up front. And then it was a sandwich with a bunch of nonsense in the middle. And in the back end, you had 2 or 3 games at 10 o'clock. And I guess I'll ask you, Andre, as far as before we dig into the slate, like how are you dealing with that? And it seems like in the COVID world, like this stuff has been happening more where you get late. We saw Kawhi get scratched out of nowhere. At least we know tonight that, Kyrie's not playing. And of course, that's an ESPN game. So they gave him an injury. We'll talk about the body parts in a second. I assume he's fine, but who knows? Yeah, the regular season doesn't mean anything. But how are you dealing with that? And are you somebody that babysits your lineups? I assume you do as the night progresses, because there's clearly a huge edge in that.
Yes, something I've actually learned more so recently is to babysit my lineups. And it hasn't paid off yet, but it's something I've been watching for, especially when I play a lot of money on most nights or some nights. I tend to just make sure I'm by the computer for all the news just in case to see how it breaks down. Like last night was really hectic. If you didn't have a lot of DeMarcus Cousins and you were able to pivot off and keep the swap to get Hassan Whiteside, I'm sure it paid off for you and make an adjustment to your lineup. So something I'm learning to get more and do more often with my lineups, and hopefully I just continue to get better at it.
Yeah, so one game at 7:00 tonight, Denver and Boston. That's one of the games we're talking about as far as injuries. We'll get to that in a second. As far as something we don't really know about, then we have a break of an hour. New Orleans, Memphis. I think that's the first half of the ESPN doubleheader, or TNT, I believe it is. Doesn't matter. Lakers, Minnesota, also at 8:00. And then Portland and OKC, also at 8:00. And then Toronto, Milwaukee, 8:00. And then we have a 2.5 hour break until Brooklyn and Phoenix. And I think we know the information out there. We don't know who's going to start with Brooklyn, because it's kind of like when Kyrie's not playing, sometimes you see Brown out there for defensive purposes. Let's just knock these out as far as the who's in and who's out. The people want to know in the chat. And hey, ask some questions in the chat. These guys will answer them later on. Devin, fabulous multitasking producer, is compiling those questions. He's going to jump on last 15 minutes or so of the show. Just let us know, is it for tournaments? Is it for cash? Is it for FanDuel? Is it for DraftKings? Makes it so much easier. I see Grant lurking in the chat too, and Bobby. All the celebrities are out. Tambo. Grant's actually to be on Crunch Time later today. Shout out to Crunch Time if you guys are premium members. And if you're not, why not? And hey, if you want to dabble, get $10 off. $10 off your first month. That link's going to be dropped in chat for you guys. You can get it a la carte, just one sport. You just want basketball. That's that. That's one price for that. Or you can get all the sports with the exception of NASCAR, $10 off as well there. We said Kyrie's out. KD, of course, is out too. Andre Robertson was once like a really good defensive player for OKC. I don't know what he's projected for tonight, but he's available to play. Just worth noting, I suppose. Can't imagine he plays a ton, but just somebody to monitor. And that's somebody they can use in that team. Like, they have really good offensive players, and just he's a good defensive player, 3-and-D guy. Well, not a great 3, but a D. All right, Daniel Tice is out with a finger. Denver, Barton's out, Dozier's out, Millsap's still out, Harris is out, and Monte Morris is currently questionable. If he does not go, that is a 7:00 game, so we should probably know that. If not on this show, the next show. If Morris doesn't go, like Campazzo can become a thing. Like Bull might draw a start. Not saying he's going to play a ton of minutes, but we've seen it before where he's drawn the start. Hampton might get some run. Certainly, definitely something to monitor. LeBron's going to play. AD is out. Anunoby's doubtful, last we saw. And Teo Maladon is probable with the COVID protocols, good to go. Will, this first slate, and it's probably more so on DK than on FanDuel, especially when it comes to the bigs. I feel like it's a star scrub slate. You can get 3 studs on DK today and have a good time, and hope for the best as far as the 3K cheapies, which may get better when news comes out. But your overall thought as far as the slate, your thought as far as Denver if Morris is out, and how about the bigs? Because we have, Thompson is super cheap, no Tice, and potentially the Time Lord. Maybe Williams can become a thing to kind of make things work. And also in Denver, who's the other guy that I just learned his name? What's the dude's name? Najee. There you go. He played a bunch of minutes last game, and JaMychal Green, we assume, is going to draw the start as well for Denver. So start with that game and start with the cheapies if you don't mind.
I think on DK, they're probably going to be a lot more viable overall. I definitely think on FanDuel, you're probably going to have to pick and choose. Like, I don't think I really want to hop on the Campazzo train. I'm probably going to avoid RJ Hampton. I think I'm just going to kind of let all these bench guys just rot away. I'm going to get some exposure to Michael Porter. I'm going to get some exposure to JaMychal Green. Probably going to have plenty of Jamal Murray and plenty of Jokic. Currently right now, I'm looking at this ownership on Jokic. Like, to me, that's the play. Like, I'm looking at 15% on FanDuel. That is ridiculous for the guy that the offense is going to be running through him. I'm not afraid to tell everybody around. I've got 50% Jokic right now. 50, not 50.
No,
I got 50. No lock button. I've got another guy. I'll tell you right now, I'm splitting center. I got 2 centers tonight, Jokic and
Cantor.
And no.
What?
No, Cantor isn't anywhere in the stratosphere of Al Horford right now with SGA off the floor. No, Gene, you're laughing. You better check the box scores, buddy. Al Horford is averaging 1.65 fantasy points per minute with no SGA, and then you go look at the box scores, and I'm talking about the fantasy production. You say, I guess it checks out. This is not a fluke with SGA off the court with Al Horford. I mean, he's pretty much been automatic 40 every game. And guess who they're playing tonight, Dean? You want to take a guess? The lowly Portland Trailblazers who can't play any defense. Portland can't play D. I mean, I'm all over OKC tonight. That's actually one of my favorite teams, even with Teo Maladon back in the mix. Like I'm going to have plenty of OKC. The Nuggets, like I said, especially on FanDuel, just Jokic, Green, Porter Jr., and Murray. That's about it. So that's kind of where I am. And then another team that I like as well. I know I'm kind of hopping around here, but I want to kind of get these plays out the way, and then let's see where SBK lands. I think the Brooklyn Nets are very interesting tonight. And the reason why I'm saying that, I'm looking at on the other side of the ball where Chris Paul, we got him projected at 18% on FanDuel, 22% from Mikal Bridges, right? And then you look over at on the Brooklyn side, you got 20% on the Harden, and everybody else is like under 1%, which I'm sure that'll change some. But I mean, Bruce Brown is going to have to play. Joe Harris is going to have to play. TLC is going to get some minutes tonight. Like, Joe Harris could very well drop 35 fantasy points tonight at very low ownership. Like, if they're going to win this game, Harden can't score 120 points. Somebody else has got to put the ball on the rim. But I mean, and even Harden at 20% today is really low, considering he's the main guy. Like, so these are the spots I'm looking at, especially when I see Giannis is at like 50%. That doesn't make much sense to me when you got Jokic and Harden, who are pretty much Giannis extraordinaire. It's just a weak power forward position, but I don't mind putting Giannis on the chopping block. Not putting him on the chopping block per se. I will have exposure, but I just think that ownership gap between him, Harden, and Jokic, that's ridiculous on a slate like this. It's just 6 games. Like, Giannis could easily go out and put up 45 and be suboptimal very quickly.
There's a lot of good stuff. Let's bring Andre in. And let me just, to be clear, I pulled up my rankings, FanDuel specific, and my top 3 centers are Jokic, Cantor, and Horford. So I wasn't besmirching. Horford's perfectly fine. I have Cantor's a little bit cheaper, so I have him slightly edged out, but I think they're all perfectly playable. And also Portland, obviously, there's no Harry Giles. They're just super, super thin. So I think he's well positioned to have a pretty good night. The price is kind of adjusted, but he's pretty solid for me. But yeah, so Andre, we're talking about like all the studs tonight, and it's interesting. Giannis was brought up, and Milwaukee hasn't been great. Like, the same precedent. They said they've been fine. Like, they're going to be making the playoffs and no big deal, whatever. But they've certainly sputtered a little bit this year. There's no Holiday. We've seen Giannis play in close games 37, 38 minutes, which we weren't seeing last year. We're talking about a 236.5 game here. They're 6-point favorites. So it's really high, fairly tight. Of course, they can blow Toronto out, go the other way as well, too. But then we have LeBron without Davis, and Harden's the last man standing. I know Phoenix is not a team I want to pick on, but he's the last man standing out of the 3 studs, and then a bunch of other guys that don't really do anything. So there's a lot of different routes to consider. And then there's Jokic. And that's why Jokic is not getting the ownership, I think, because, it's hard to put him ahead of LeBron. It's hard to put him ahead of Harden. You can only pay for so many guys. There's Lillard against OKC, and they're pretty thin, and Lillard's going to play his 38 minutes. So the slate is kind of loaded with stars, and that's why I'm seeing stars and scrubs. Can you give me like a power ranking of your favorite studs?
Yeah, I can give you a power ranking of my favorite studs. I'm gonna have to probably put Jokic first and number 1 just because of the 15% ownership, and because Boston doesn't have no one up front to guard him besides Tristan Thompson, who I don't think is gonna do very well at Jokic. Jokic is too good, he's too skilled, so he would be my first choice in tournaments, especially to go with. And then I like going like LeBron a little bit, even because Lakers, they've been playing well, but they have not been playing like how they were playing last year defensively. I think this game could still be competitive, especially with Cat back now. Even though they're ramping up the minutes on him, I like LeBron a lot, especially at 10% ownership. If I'd rather have him and be double the field on him, and have a little bit less of Giannis if possible in tournaments. And then from there, my third one would be James Harden. 20%. He's the only person left, last man standing. And Phoenix has been playing great defense, so don't get me wrong. So that's I think a little bit of the worry besides other studs on the slate, but the usage is all going to be there. He's going to have to put up shots. He's going to do it all: rebound, score, and get assists. So I like him as far as my top 3. Lillard probably is going to be ranked next, or actually probably last, just because I don't I can't. He's been playing hurt, honestly. Like with I think it's an abdomen injury. I believe he's been playing with. So with that being said, he's 9'5". I understand he's 9'5". He's going to be chalky. I'd rather get away from the chalk a little bit and maybe be like under on him. Maybe play like 20%, maybe 15% of him, and then play like the other studs that I mentioned ahead of him. And then I would go. And then obviously Giannis, he would be right ahead at number 4. Just based on the matchup, I think it's going to be a competitive game because, like the Lakers, the Milwaukee Bucks have been in competitive games all season long. Lately in like the past week or so. So I can see Giannis having some upside there, but he'd be my 4th ranked star on the slate.
All right, I was just going to ask. I was saying, Devin, let me know when SBK shows up. He's going to pop in. If you guys have any questions, feel free to chime in. Just got a couple questions for him. Obviously hard at work there. Lineup HQ knocking some stuff out. Keach, what's going on? And talk to me about, there's not a lot that we're monitoring. I guess Denver, let's play the if-then game. Do you have something set up? If Morris is not a go, Denver is obviously going to be super, super thin. And then Campazzo is probably going to have to get a bunch of run. And I guess Hampton as well, too. Is that where you see it as well?
Yeah, so we do have an if-then with Morris out. In that event, the main upgrades would be to Campazzo and RJ Hampton, with some minor upgrades to Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray. We'd have Hampton at 28 minutes in that scenario, actually the same minute projection as Campazzo. We would have Campazzo at a higher overall projection. So yeah, that would be those two, obviously the main beneficiaries there. Jamal Murray gets a slight uptick. We'd have both Murray and Jokic at 38 minutes in the event that Morris sits. So that's how they're looking. We'd have Murray at like 37 DraftKings points. So pretty healthy projection.
There are some thin bigs like this is DK specific where I think to kind of make things work in that same game where like Najee, there's a path where he plays 20 minutes or so. He played a bunch of minutes in the second half. Part of that was because Green got in foul trouble as well too. It looks like he seems to be the backup 4, potentially the backup 5. We didn't see Hartenstein in that game either. And then on the Boston side, without Tice, they're going to throw Tristan Thompson at Jokic. They're going to throw Time Lord, Robert Williams at him. And they're both really, really cheap. I don't know who it's going to be, but like amongst those, it feels like one of those guys, or maybe 2 of those guys, could be potentially the key to unlocking the studs. Is that what you see as well?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I actually had something come up, something projections-wise discussion, but yeah, I mean, the Nuggets bigs are interesting. I mean, obviously Jokic is like an incredible play. I am kind of struggling a little bit with JaMychal Green. I did run a court IQ query, and I'd be remiss to not shout Meansy out for this as well. He apparently had this in core plays, but in I guess about 210 minutes with Jokic on the floor, Green and Jokic on the floor together. Green only averaging 0.75 fantasy points per minute. So it's a little bit concerning for me, given that obviously those two I would expect to play a lot together. I am not on the Najee train. I think I would imagine he'll probably play a little bit less. Obviously, you had noted that part of the reason he saw more run in the last game was because of foul trouble. So I would not be surprised to see his run kind of come down a bit. But yeah, I mean, I think we could possibly see Green for like 32, 34 minutes in this spot if this game stays competitive. So even though his per minute upside might not be quite as high, just given the total run, I think he's still pretty appealing.
He's cheap enough where he can crawl his way to get in there and paying off that salary.
Right.
A couple more just things I want to. Do you have anything on Roberson and how many potential minutes he can play tonight?
Let me see if we have him in there yet. I did see he's going to be active. We don't actually have him projected in the rotation yet. We did throw Chris Chiozza in there, who I assume is probably playing the minutes that some people may have him projected to play. But I mean, he just joined the team, I believe, yesterday. So wouldn't be shocked if they kind of give him a game or 2 or maybe even more to kind of get his legs under him. But yeah, we have kind of Chris Chiozza at the back of the bench there, and Tyler Johnson with a 22-minute projection as well, which is a little bit weird to look at.
One more thing Maladon, you expect he just kind of jumps back and plays his 30 minutes in the starting rotation? Is that the expectation here?
Yeah, we have him right now at 28 minutes. So pretty much his normal run of allotment. I mean, they obviously don't have many bodies still. I mean, they're starting to pick up more, but yeah, still pretty limited, especially at the guard spot. They don't really have a true point guard. Maladon gives them their truest point guard. So yeah, 28 minutes for him, about a 22 fantasy point projection. So not popping off the page, and still at 5K on DraftKings. Probably not going to be somebody that like it's good lineup builder is going to jam in there, but not a bad upside play, I don't think.
You guys got anything for Keach before he gets out of here?
No, not currently.
That's a negative.
Keach, have a good night. Hopefully.
Well, let me say this, Keach. You know, you guys are doing projections. I'm building lineups. Like we're trying to get this thing right, man.
Will's like, leave me alone for the next 10 minutes, man. I'm trying to make some lineups over here on the fly. Thank you, Keach. We appreciate your time. Kill it tonight. All right. So, Will, I'm going to bother you. Here's what I want. Hopefully you've already set this up. You guys coordinated with Devin, our producer, but PrizePicks, 100% deposit bonus tonight, up to $100. Use the promo code Grinders, GRINDERS. That's in chat as well. Do you have some winners for the people potentially?
Man, look, I do, and I think two of them are going to hit, and one might be a little suspect right now. Okay. That was before the Maladon news, but I'm not really worried about it. I think Jamal Murray is going way over 32 fantasy points tonight. Whether Morris plays or not, it doesn't even matter. Like, he's going to play big minutes. I think we see a big game from Jamal Murray. One of my favorite plays on the slate, especially on FanDuel, where I look at the ownership here. I mean, it's not anything astronomical. I mean, we've got Jamal Murray at 20% and John Morant's at 38%. I think Jamal Murray might go for one of those 50 burgers tonight. At any rate, like Jamal Murray over 32, Kyle Kuzma, 25 fantasy points against Minnesota with no Anthony Davis. I think this was a criminally low prop here. So definitely taking Kyle Kuzma in the over. And then, of course, prior to the Maladon news, I had Hamidou Diallo over 31 fantasy points. I wish I could go in and just switch it for Al Horford because I still think he gets there. But at any rate, I'm going to have to live with it. I will say PrizePicks, it's a site that I love. Even if this prop doesn't quite go my way, I can still have a profitable night. If I go 3 for 3, I'll get 2.25x. If I go, if I go 3 for 3, if I go 2 for 3, I'll still get 1.25x, which isn't great, but I still think two of these props come through for me. So, like I said, PrizePicks is one of my favorite sites, man. I really love the platform, love what they're doing, and typically I've got a really good edge because they use FanDuel scoring.
About 10 minutes or so, Devin's going to join the show. Our producer is currently compiling those questions in chat. Do subscribe, turn on notifications, ask some questions in chat. If Devin likes it, if he approves, he'll ask it later on. Tell us what tournament. If it's for tournaments, if it's for cash, DK, FanDuel, the whole deal. Makes it a lot easier. Hey, Andre, are we ignoring this New Orleans Memphis game?
Dean,
231. Yeah.
Dean, what are you doing, man? Andre's got his own PrizePick stuff going on, man.
Oh,
I thought you forgot all about me.
No, I didn't know if you had it. I didn't want to set up an awkward moment, and I didn't know. If you had
man,
it
doesn't know the guy's a 7-figure winner, not including the PrizePicks. Dean,
but I don't know if he knew that. I don't know if it was communicated. I wasn't in the conversation. I apologize.
Dean, you are in the company chat room. What is going on with you today?
I changed laptops and I can't access that because I forgot my code. No, the people don't care about the minutia, how the sausage is made. But Dean, I haven't. I don't. If you guys communicated in there, I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
Only Dean, new laptop, still has a house phone. I don't understand.
Yeah, well,
I don't understand.
Andre, I apologize.
Oh boy.
Give him
it's so good. So like I got 3 overs today. Al Horford obviously in that matchup against Portland, which allows a lot of fantasy points, and it's probably going to be one of the best games to target tonight. I definitely got the over 36 fantasy points. I look for him to have a monster game. I expect him to put up 50 points. He's probably going to be like right there with Jokic as far as like my favorite center, one of my favorite centers to play as far as 1 and 2. Then my third one my second one is DeAndre Ayton, another center against Brooklyn, another juicy matchup. You got to attack with the bigs with Brooklyn. 34 fantasy points. He's going to be low owned in tournaments, and I love that 34 fantasy point for him to go over. I kind of expect him to honestly get to like 50 also as well. And then obviously the Lakers game, Minnesota, where you got Dennis Schroeder at 29 fantasy points. I got the over in that one. It's just a good matchup overall. There's nothing you can say that's going to deter me away from that's going to deter anyone away from that. I obviously kind of encourage people to play Dennis Schroeder tonight. Any of the Lakers are going to be good. They get a big usage bump without Anthony Davis on the floor, and Schroeder can. I think I think Ricky Rubio cannot guard him honestly at all, and I look for him to have a monster game. This matchup is one of the best matchups for him, I think, on the slate.
You could only pick one of the Lakers, Schroeder or Kuzma. And also, DK wasn't messing around. You see Davis is out, like, oh, we're gonna play Kuzma. 7K on DK. Yeah, I don't think so. But 5'8" on FanDuel. So obviously different positions, Andre. But you got Schroeder, you have Kuzma, 5'8" versus 5'7". Who do you prefer? You can only pick one.
If I had to pick, I'm picking Dennis Schroeder. I just love the matchup for the guards. I think even though LeBron's gonna be doing some of the ball handling, I still like Dennis Schroeder to take a lot of the shots and get a lot of assists and peripherals.
Will, same question, and then expand on. I kind of started to open it up in the New Orleans Memphis game, which I feel like it's kind of being neglected. And I get it, like New Orleans is healthy, and Zion's going to get what he's basically priced for, and Ingram's going to basically going to get what he's priced for. They're probably not going to break the slate. They're probably not going to hurt you either. It's a 231 total, high and tight. There's like favorites New Orleans versus Memphis. If anything, probably Ja Morant is my favorite play in this game. Memphis is still pretty thin. Jonas is going to be mostly ignored. He's fine, but probably not getting there. You can only roster so many centers. Your take as far as your favorite, the secondary Laker, and then the Memphis New Orleans game.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the ownership right now on FanDuel, obviously Ja is getting a ton of traction at 36%. I mean, I think it's warranted. Like, Ja's about to be 7K flat. He's 7,100. The thing about Ja that I've realized over the past of this stretch where he's kind of been in like the mid-30s but hasn't really hit the ceiling, you got to look at the shooting. And this is kind of something, Dean, I think we've talked about before, where we took a guy like Kelly Oubre earlier in the season.
Yeah.
And you see Kelly Oubre scoring like 18 fantasy points. You're like, what is he doing? You pull up the game log, he's shooting like 5 for 20, 1 for 13, 2 for 6. It was terrible. Then you look, as soon as his shooting numbers picked up, boom, 30 plus every game almost. And I think that's what's going on with Ja Morant. You look at it, I mean, Ja shot like I think he shot 38% the past 2 games, I think. And one game, I think he shot around 29%. If Ja gets in the 45 to 50% range, he's taking about 20 shots. His fantasy production is really going to pick up. And the other thing too, man, in terms of the real, complexity of the game, when Ja starts hitting shots, the defense is going to play him different. Now he'll be able to get to the rim a little bit more because they're going to play him a little bit tighter on the perimeter. He'll have a little bit more of those driving kicks, a few more of those dunk balls. Once he touches the paint, it's a wrap. So I think that's really going to help him. The more he starts hitting shots, they're going to play him a little bit differently, and that'll help increase not only his scoring, but some of the peripherals. I mean, Ja's a guy we saw last year was pretty much double alert most games with points and assists, and we just haven't seen that. Also, they've either blown a team out or they've gotten blown out, so he hasn't been able to hit his minute ceiling, which I think is around 35 to 36 minutes. So he hits 35 minutes, 35 to 36 minutes. Even if he's not shooting well, he can get there. If he starts shooting well, he's going to be on double alert quickly. And that's when you're going to see the 50 and 60 point ceiling. So I'll shut up about Ja and kind of let you guys have it. But I do really like Dylan Brooks as well in that game. Don't want to overlook him. 5,300 on FanDuel. That's incredible pricing on a guy that's put up 30 plus fantasy points on several occasions. I think this is a fantastic spot for him. And I do really like Zion tonight. I think he might be on his way to 50 fantasy points as well. I think he's the guy to play against Memphis, and I'll leave it there.
Your thoughts, Andre?
Yes, honestly, I was going to say that New Orleans Memphis game is actually it's like my favorite sneaky game stack to go with tonight. I'm probably going to honestly have I probably like at least probably half my team, so maybe a quarter of my teams in tournaments are going to have that as a whole game stack, just for the simple fact of it's high, the total is nice between both of them, and it's going to be very competitive to the very end. I feel you got low owned plays like Lonzo Ball, who I know at 6.8 is a little high, but he can still get there. And then you got Brandon Ingram, who's only predicted for 17%. It's like how I like to play some of my tournaments a little bit when I go like a mid range build. So those fit the description of what I would do between those two teams. And like Chief was saying with Ja Morant, he still has not reached his upside yet, and he's going to be popular tonight. And as well as he's due for a monster and explosive game soon, and it's coming. It definitely is coming soon. And Dylan Brooks is a great option too. Kyle Anderson is someone I think is sneaky a little bit. and like I said, for a game sack is what I'm going to be doing a lot. So those are like the main core plays I'm going to be using for that team on both sides.
Got the lineup HQ pulled up. Let's play good chalk, bad chalk. 6-game slate. Well, you can go first, or or if anybody has a strong opinion, by all means. Good chalk, bad chalk. Currently, this is our lineup HQ stuff. Obviously, if new information comes in, this will change. But right now, JaMychal Green is projected to be 50% owned on FanDuel. Is that good chalk, or is that bad chalk, or is that kind of what he should be?
I don't think he should be that high owned, but I don't feel like he's bad chalk at the price. Yeah. Like if he was 5,500 now, I'd be hitting the X button. Like it'd be a straight up fade. But I think he's 4,400. It's not a whole lot of $4,400 players you're going to get tonight. So I don't think he's bad chalk. I do think he's really, really pushing the ownership envelope though.
Just Vanderbilt's a pivot maybe if you want it. That's such a squeamish play, and Minnesota has they're just terrible at developing their players, and they'll just bench them and they'll play 12 guys, and they got to get Wancho some run, and it's such a mess. But in theory, he's got some upside. Not a lot of pivots, straight pivots as far as I can tell. I guess buy Portis, you have a few extra dollars or something like that. Thoughts there? You think you're gonna be over or under? Where are you at there, Andre, as far as Green as of right now?
Green, I'm definitely going to be under him for sure. I like playing up a little bit for power forward tonight on fan because I'm playing pretty much on FanDuel tonight. So I like playing up at both positions, mostly for power forward, whether it's a combination of Giannis and Zion or Tatum and Zion, either something like that, or even some little bit of Kyle Kuzma in tournaments too. I think I'm going to have maybe honestly probably like 20%. Of JaMychal Green tonight. I don't think it's not the worst chalk in the world, but I understand why he is in the situation given to in the minutes he's going to have to play.
It is raining here. If you guys are hearing some noise, that's what's going on. It's always something with my setup, but my apology is going to do the best to, and it's picking up as the show is progressing. Also on DK, for what it's worth, same deal. Green is projected to be 48% owned. One guy that's different on DK.
Well, let's touch on DK because I know everybody wants these DK plays. Yeah. Look, DK is really easy. Click the Denver button and look at all the value, and then decide who you want to plug into your lineups, because the Denver value is probably going to drive the slate. So you got JaMychal Green at 4,300. You've got Michael Porter Jr. at 58, Jamal Murray at 72. Jokic at 10-7. I know those aren't all value plays, but I think if you pull up the slate, especially if Campazzo is out, then you're going to get some of these other cheaper guards. Not Campazzo, excuse me. If Morris is out, Campazzo at 33 is a lot better play on DK in my opinion on FanDuel. He's still the minimum on FanDuel, but on FanDuel tonight, you're really giving up a lot if you're going to fade Chris Paul and Ja and Murray. I don't think you can do it on FanDuel. On DK, I definitely think there's merit to getting either RJ Hampton or Campazzo, right? Then you hop on over to OKC. OKC has still got pretty good value, right? Where Josh Jackson is 5,700. You still got Dort at 54. Diallo is kind of their expensive guy, and then you've got Maladon at 5K. Trust me, Portland is playing really bad defense, so you got them there. Then you hop over to Brooklyn. Brooklyn has got Tyler Johnson at 3,200. Not saying you need to play him, but I'm saying he's in the mix. Harden is 10-8. Bruce Brown, 4,600. You've got TLC at 3,900. Like, these are going to be your value plays on DK. And so on DK, you got to mix some of these guys in to try and get where you need to go and build them around the studs. Like, that is the build on DK, period. You're going to need one of these 3 or 4 guys going off. Right. And the bottom line is, I'm sorry to hog it up, but if you guys look at Slate IQ, DK is going to tell you that almost every day. DK is a stars and scrubs site most nights, where FanDuel, you can't go stars and scrubs on FanDuel. It's just not how it works. If you play 5 4K guys, you're probably going to lose unless it's like the last game of the season and nobody's playing. Like that's just the way it works. So on DK, you got to have some of these cheaper guys so you can get the leverage to get where you want to get. Sometimes on DK, there are spots where you play a 6K guy, a 7K guy. Like if it's the right spot, like when you start getting Chris Middleton at 72 and Ja at 7K and Kyle Lowry at 6,800. And then maybe if Zion was 75, like now you're getting that spot where the mid-range might be the way to go, because you can get like 5 players that have 50+ point upside, and you take a stand and maybe take one 4K guy, another 6K guy, and now you got a different build. So I know I'm kind of talking through that, but the DK build, that's just kind of how it lends itself most nights. You're gonna need, especially tonight with Denver, you're gonna need JaMychal Green on DK probably, just to put that out there. Versus on FanDuel, you might not need JaMychal Green at all to win a tournament. Like that, it's just the way it is.
The cap's not as tight on FanDuel, and like the 3K floor is really, really positive, and you get the right guy. And on my second favorite net on DK, and this is one of the differences in the slate for me, is I like DeAndre Jordan. His price at 4 point, I think it's 4.5 on DK. That's just too low, and I think it's his actual spot where he can play like a true center against 8 in the other side, and that rotation is going to be squeezed. And one of Brown or Green or Shamit or TLC or Tyler Johnson's also going to get there. I can't tell you which one it's going to be. I don't know who's going to start. I have no idea. But we're eating into Devin's time. He's been compiling those questions. We got to bring Devin on. Devin, how's the show going? My camera is still working. That's a thing. That's a positive sign.
Well, just based on that alone, we're ahead of yesterday. And we didn't have to break out the duct tape either, so that's good.
Yeah, I had it on a layaway just in case. But so you guys are going to handle tournament questions. I guess I'll answer cash. So if you guys want to, I could just sit back and chill. Not really sure what I want to do. But Devin, fire away tournaments for them. I guess cash for me.
Sounds
we'll see
good.
how it goes.
So look, let's do it like this, Dean. You handle cash. Dre, you take FanDuel tournaments. I'll take DK tournaments. That's fair? That's fair? All right, cool. Let's get it.
All right, let's start with Matthew. FanDuel tournament, rank the studs: Harden, LeBron, ABC, and Jokic.
Jokic, LeBron, Harden, and Giannis last.
And that's an ownership play if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's an ownership play. Sorry.
No, you didn't have to say that. I'm just putting it out there for the people so they understand the logic behind it.
Don't forget to smash that like button, everyone.
Devin, it's Smosh now.
Smosh the Luke button.
SH. Smosh the like button, people.
Is that what the chat is saying? I was not keeping up with the chat.
Eagles wants to know, FanDuel tournament, worth punting TLC for the hope that he starts, or play it safe with Simi? If there is a safe play with Simi.
Semi's not safe.
No.
Safe play with either or play.
Yeah.
Neither or is not safe, honestly. What position was it? Shooting guard position? I'll find another shooting guard position, right?
Sounds good. We'll go to Mark's question. FanDuel cash, Middleton and Dylan Brooks, or Fred VanVleet and Kenrich?
What was the first two again? I'm sorry.
Middleton and Dylan Brooks, or Fred VanVleet and Kenrich?
Oof.
Dean, it's got to be number one.
Yeah, the first one. It's the first one. It's just those are guys I wasn't really considering for cash.
Kenrich is probably going to get his minutes cut tonight anyway, like a little bit.
All right, Andre, did you get that question? Uh-oh, I think he might have frozen.
Oh, boy.
AKA Hollywood wants to know. Oh, there you go. Welcome back. Can you hear us?
Andre, you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Were you able to get that?
Hello?
Uh-oh. I think his earbuds might have gone out.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
we've
right,
all been
perfect.
there.
I'm back, I think. I don't know what happened. Oh, Will is frozen.
Oh,
He
yeah.
thinks you're frozen, Will.
Can you hear-
Is Will frozen? Are we all frozen? What's going on here?
I think we're
Hello?
good now. You good, Andre?
Will is frozen.
Yeah, I think you might have a little bit of a delay there.
I am. It's just coming in and out a little bit.
Well, why don't we go ahead and answer some questions and you can work on that. Nick wants to know, favorite single entry FanDuel play?
Favorite Jamal Murray. So, matter of fact, I didn't give out my lock buttons, by the way. But Jamal Murray, I've got him locked in 100% tonight. Ooh. I've got Harden locked in 100% tonight. Yeah. Those two guys, I've got them lock button 100%.
All right. Moving on to Dustin. FanDuel tournament, LBJ and Jokic, or Cat and Tatum?
LBJ, Jokic, Cat, LBJ, Jokic.
All right. King Moses wants to know, FanDuel tournament, favorite lock above 8K?
Probably gonna be Harden.
Hello?
I think he's back.
I'm back.
Who's back? Back again.
Back again.
All right,
Andre's back.
Do you have that the punt for FanDuel tournament that you were looking up?
Yes, I do. What price was his price was, I believe, 35, I believe.
It was around the TLC and Simi range.
Yeah, so what I would go maybe is Caldwell Pope. He said 3,500 is going to play more minutes. So I think he's a good pivot option if you're going to punt.
All right, David.
Hey, Devin, can I just ask a question? We haven't talked about the Suns. You're supposed to pick on the Nets. And I saw people talk about this in Discord earlier today. By the way, if you guys are premium members, jump into Discord. It doesn't cost you anything, added value for sure. There are some free Discord channels too, but there's premium ones. But
were you about to bring up Aiden? Because I was literally about to ask that.
Well, just the Suns in general. But yeah, Aiden and Booker and Paul but the Suns they play a bunch of guys and they're all kind of priced where they should be priced. There's no values per se. I'm mostly off the Suns, and I feel like that's wrong because they're playing against Brooklyn. But that's where I'm at. Does anybody have any Suns takes or just Ayton as well?
I love DeAndre Ayton. I know, they're well priced, but I think Ayton can still get like 50 to 55 in this matchup. I don't play a lot of Suns lately just because the prices on them and the usage of like Booker's not that high with Chris Paul being there as it once was in years past, but Ayton to me is my favorite Phoenix Sun to play tonight. I'm going to probably have double the field of him in tournaments tonight.
All right, and the cameras are good to go, so thanks for that, guys. Moses wants to know, FanDuel tournament, favorite bench player to 6X that's not named Diallo?
Is that a trick question?
Yeah, that is a very, very...
It's very specific.
very, very, very specific. I'm going to go Boucher from Toronto. I like that matchup against Milwaukee. I think he can definitely 6X tonight.
All right.
I think Giannis benefits without OG Anunoby, by the way. He's like their lockdown defender. And like if you like Giannis, you should Giannis, you should love him tonight. I was saying it.
Love Giannis
next. Yeah. Yeah. I just think that I could give like a slight bump to Giannis, which I already like, but I don't know who they're going to throw on him. So just throwing it out there.
All right.
OG's like their stopper.
The angriest of Vicks wants to know, DK large field tournament, Cat at 3%. What are your thoughts?
Oh, man, plenty of Cat on DK tonight. At 90, come on. I talked about this on the morning grind. Cat, listen, man, if I was on DK, Cat probably would have been 50% for me on DK today. I mean, I think this is going to be a competitive matchup. Man. He's way too cheap on DK, like extremely.
Same point, by the way, no Davis. So the defense should be hampered to some degree. For the Lakers are the best defense in the league. Not tonight necessarily.
All right, moving on to Josiah. Are your thoughts any different on Jokic and LBJ, with them projected at 25 and 20% ownership on DK, respectively?
No. I still like him.
I'm having fun with the camera, by the way. We don't usually have 3 people on here, so I was trying to find a creative way to fit my face on the screen. But so the viewers are having fun. Oh, it works. Yeah, it works great.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, let me mention something. I caught that Sean Chambers mentioned something. He said no OG and no Drew, 2 best defenders. And I know we can't cover all the plays, but I do really like Kyle Lowry tonight with no Drew. I'm telling you, like, with no Drew, man, these guards have been able to get off on Milwaukee recently.
Yeah,
love Kyle Lowry tonight, by the way. He is in my pool. I'm well over the field on him. I got a tight pool on FanDuel. Like, I've only got let's see, and Diva, I know I'm messing up your question time. My bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've only got 6 point guards, 6 point guards tonight. If you can guess those point guards, do you think we're authorized to get these people a free piece of gear, Devin? Can we authorize that in the middle of this show?
I think we could get out some T-shirts if we want to.
Let's do that. You guess my 6 point guards, we'll get you a free piece of gear out.
All right.
On FanDuel, you got to guess them right though. All 6.
And moving on, let's get...
Chat's going to be a mess for the next few minutes.
Right. Skate wants us to do the cardinal sin of the DFS player and try to predict a blowout at the Nets. Do you think that's possible?
Is it possible? Yeah.
I mean, it's possible to predict a blowout, but do I think they are going to blow them out? No, it's not. That's not going to be a blowout. You can see it happening. Harden can keep them in the game by himself alone, and Joe Harris is not a scrub. He can definitely shoot the rock, and he can have a good game. And DeAndre Jordan is definitely a good defender down low. But it's going to be. I think it's going to be close for about maybe 3.5 quarters, and then by then, in the middle of the 4th quarter, you might see them pull away. You might see Phoenix pull away a little bit.
All right, moving on to K-Mac. Wants to know, Andre specifically, who are the best 2 values on tonight's slate for FanDuel tournament?
The best value plays that I have in my player pool that I feel are going to be like Eric Bledsoe. He's someone I would definitely use. Oh God, let me get Dort out of there. Dort is a good play if you like playing. If you like
Hey,
taking
stop it,
chances
stop
a little
it.
bit.
Logan Kramer has already won it. Sorry about that. Murray, Lillard, Schroeder, Morant, Paul Lowry. He's got it. Boom. Those are the 6.
All right, Logan.
Logan.
By the way, this is worth noting.
Congrats.
I just want to. Monte Morris is not playing basketball tonight. That team's
Correct.
important.
Logan, hit me up on Twitter at Chief Justice 06, or you can hit me up on RG in the DMs. Send me the info, and we'll get that shirt out to you, buddy.
Dean, come on. Don't worry about news. We're giving out T-shirts here.
Wait, he said correct? Like he knew this, but he wasn't going to tell us? Did you say correct?
For what?
Like, I thought I heard Will say correct. Like
Yeah,
you knew.
Logan Kramer got it.
Yeah.
No, the Morris. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're on 2 different conversations. I'm focusing
Oh,
on
my
that.
gosh.
God forbid.
D, come on, man.
Congratulations.
All right. Moving on to Brian. A DK tournament. Does Harden affect Giannis's ownership, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, Harden grabs more ownership because he's the last man standing. So maybe the domino effect and salary cap reasons, maybe Giannis fell down. I've not been following it throughout the day. But like that, I don't know how that really matters a ton. He's still going to be well owned, right? Like,
In the conversation of studs, it seems pretty logical that one would affect the other's ownership.
I think it hurts
like
Lillard.
2%.
I think it hurts a guy like Lillard more.
Yeah, that's what it hurts. I think that's what hurts more is Lillard. Just from looking at the ownership, they're pretty close, off by a couple percentage. So it's not really any difference between the two. They're both are in good spots.
Nice. All right. Nate wants to know, DK single entry, do you think we need a stud or can you get leverage with a balanced build tonight?
Oh, that'll be definitely leveraged. That'll definitely be leveraged tonight. Just sorry, I know you're supposed to answer the DK
Good,
question,
bro.
but that'll definitely be leveraged tonight for sure. Balanced builds typically are not normal for DK. It can work on some nights. Tonight can be that kind of night. You'll be definitely a lot different than a lot of the bigger players out there.
Dean, you look like you have something you want to say.
Oh, no. I'm just kind of looking at the Denver rotation. I'm trying to figure out like how much Denver is too much Denver. And also I'm locking that in early and goofy stuff can happen late. And, it's that sort of push-pull of like, this is a great team to play players from. But also there's more games late and COVID and weird things happen. So I don't know if I want to be locked in on, Campazzo if he's like not going to be good or really good. Your plays have to be really good if you're playing him at 7 o'clock. It's just my general thesis.
Well, we all know that 400-point scores don't win it anymore, so...
that's not worth getting into.
Let's we got about 10-15 seconds left until we need to close out, so we'll end on Steve. Yep, that's me's question. How many players in the Memphis Pelicans game is your ideal stack?
Andre.
Well, this your question, Dre. You're on that game a little bit more than me.
Yeah,
I only got 3 players from that game.
I would say like 5 to 6. 5 to 6 would be my ideal stack, whether it's a 4-2 or a 3-3 or I would definitely do 5 to 6 for sure. And keep it like that.
All right, hit the like button, everyone.
Thank you, Devin. Thanks for hosting. Thank you, everybody, for participating in chat. It makes the show a lot more fun. It goes by a lot faster, and I think it's more helpful actually because this is the things that people are actually talking about when looking at the slate. Thanks to Andre. That was Will. That was Devin. I was Dean. This was basketball. Stay tuned for crunch time. We're out of here. Oh!